I'm Negeen, and I'm a level 1 chef.
I'm Heather. I'm a level 2 chef.
Hi, I'm here alone in my kitchen. I'm Saul. I'm the security chef at Cantina Rooftop. I've been cooking professionally for the past 23 years.
Today, we are making a Persian stuffed pepper. My mom taught me how to make this. She should be here helping me.
Growing up in New Orleans, we tend to use the abundant seafood every single way that we can imagine. And one of those ways is stuffed peppers.
So the reason today I'm using lamb is because there's some issues with sustainability with beef. It'll just add a nice kick of flavor.
Today, I'm going to teach you how to make chiles en nogada. This dish was created in Puebla to celebrate the independence of Mexico.
Here we have a green bell pepper.
I like the sweetness of red and yellow peppers, and also I kind of like the color.
Today, I'm going to use poblano pepper because it has a cell phone shape. If you're not using this pepper, you're not making chiles en nogada. It has to be a poblano pepper.
Instead of cutting it across, I'm going to cut around the little hat of the bell pepper because when it's cooking in the oven, you're gonna put the little hat back on. I'm going to easily take it out. Look how easy that was. Take the little seeds out and you're just gonna empty it out.
I like to cut it lengthwise, like a boat, and then rip out the innards myself with my hand. So I'm taking out the seeds and this little connective tissue. I'm not sure why. I just know it comes out.
What we're going to do with this beautiful poblano pepper, we are going to burn the crap out of it straight to your stove. Just straightforward into the fire so it burns all the outside. So in order to prevent for burning, you have to keep turning. So we want to cook it and we want to burn it, but we want to make sure it doesn't taste like burn. Does that make sense? No? Well, it does make sense to me. The smell, I wish you can smell this. We want some nice color in here. Once that's done, shut it off, put it in a plato, get yourself some plastic wrap and cover it. Now let it sweat. You see it start sweating already? Let it rest for like 5 minutes.
The next step is to parboil these guys because we want to get some of the firmness out. So we're just going to let that sit in its little boiling water bath. And now we wait.
Now it's going to be easy to remove the skin. So with a spoon, you're just going to peel it. Some people use water for this. Don't use water because you're removing some of the flavor of the pepper. And this char, it adds more flavor to the dish.
And now we're going to remove them. Just a quick wipe down just to remove any extra moisture. That way they don't get all goopy.
So we're going to make a little hole right here so you can see the inside. So now we're going to remove the seeds. That's it. It's done.
So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna prep everything. We have basil, parsley, tarragon,
rosemary,
fresh thyme.
We put cayenne pepper in everything. It's just the way it is in Louisiana, I'm sorry.
1 tablespoon of cinnamon, a tablespoon of turmeric, a tablespoon of cumin.
Because it's New Orleans and because it's Louisiana food, we put the Trinity, celery and green peppers and onions and everything. I know, it's like I'm stuffing a pepper with a pepper. The Trinity needs its third leg, and it's not as sweet as the red and the yellow bell peppers.
So I'm just gonna go with half an onion, dice.
If you have a larger onion, just use half of it because this was so small. I'm just gonna use all of it. Oh my God, should I start crying right now? I'm so emotional.
We also have garlic because you can't have one without the other.
What I really like doing to take off the skin is lay the garlic flat down and then I just think of an X.
3 cloves of garlic.
There's gonna be a lot of garlic in there.
Dice, pepper thin. And that one, we're just gonna put it with the onion.
Anyone can add an onion or garlic, but your girl today, we're taking it another notch higher. We're adding shallot. So I'm just kind of chopping it up right now. It can be a rough chop. It has such a good aroma to it.
We're gonna start with peach, pomegranate, Grammy Smith apple, a pear. I'm gonna cut it to the size. I'm gonna leave the skin on, and then we're just gonna cut it into little dices. I'm gonna do the pear. Same thing. Now we're moving to the peach. Beautiful little dice. Grenade. We call this grenade in Mexico. So we're gonna cut the ends right here, the top. Then we're gonna cut this part in the bottom. And we're just gonna cut it like maybe 1 centimeter dig into the pomegranate. You're just gonna force it, pull it. And there we go, a beautiful pomegranate. So now we're just gonna have to remove the seeds. And there we go. Pomegranates all over the table.
We have this beautiful medium Gulf shrimp. We're just gonna cut them in half. If you find one that's a little bit bigger, maybe cut it in thirds, or if it's maybe a little bit fattier. I love claw crab meat in this. It's a little fattier. You can use lump crab meat. I prefer claw crab meat. It's gonna be decadent and your guests and family will love you forever because it's got crab meat in it.
Okay, so I've chopped all of my herbs. We have everything ready to make the filling. So I've already been heating up this pan at like medium-high heat.
We're gonna add the Trinity. Then we're gonna toss in our garlic.
Then I'm gonna add in our shallots.
Just kind of cook this down in the butter until the onion becomes a little bit translucent.
The shallots are browning a little bit. It has a really good color to it. Here's our lamb. Oh my God, beautiful, right?
So we're using ground pork and ground beef.
Okay, we're gonna pop it in.
You're gonna break that meat apart. Okay, now I'm gonna add the onions and the garlic. We're gonna cook this for like maybe 3 more minutes. Keep stirring. We don't want no color into the meat.
Okay, so let me add in the garlic, and then I'm gonna give it a good toss. So I just put in the cinnamon, the cumin, and the turmeric. In Iranian dishes, turmeric is used in literally every single recipe. That's how prized of a spice this is.
So I make a little hole in the center, and then I toss in that chopped rosemary and thyme and cayenne pepper and salt and pepper.
So we're gonna add some salt, black pepper, a pinch of ground cloves, just a little bit of cinnamon. And the reason why I put it now, when you cook any spice on oil, all the flavors just go crazy.
Immediately the rosemary is should be like blowing up your nostrils.
We're gonna add in the herbs.
We're gonna add the parsley and just give it a good stir to incorporate. And now we're gonna add shrimp. Just toss it all in.
And now we're gonna add the tomatoes. It's just fresh tomatoes on a blender, that's it. No salt, no pepper, nothing else.
You just wanna cook them until they just turn pink. We're just gonna fold in the crab meat. The crab meat's already cooked. So I have some untoasted breadcrumbs just from the supermarket, and I'm tossing them in a little bit at a time. Just turn the heat off. Next thing, we're gonna quickly whip an egg and toss it in. The egg is actually the glue. You wanna do it kind of quick so the egg itself doesn't cook.
And now I'm gonna add some raisins, the apples. We're gonna cook the pear, the peach, a little bit of parsley. We're gonna lower the heat and just keep eye on this.
I have just a tiny bit of milk. I'm going to add a little bit, not too much, because once you put it in, you can't take it out.
I had about half a cup of rice cooking on a separate pot. I kind of go all out with the rice. It's so filling and hearty. Okay, my filling is ready. Ah, look at that.
This is also when I like to add the one thing that goes in almost all my cooking. I add just a couple of dashes. It's that vinegar and all the that little tartness that's gonna make your taste buds just kind of prickle.
Okay, so now we're gonna be making the red sauce, which is gonna be the topping and also the base of where the bell peppers are gonna cook.
We're making en nogada sauce. We're gonna use blanched walnuts, goat cheese, a pinch of cinnamon, pinch of sugar.
While our filling is actually just cooling down a little bit, this gives us the perfect opportunity to toast the breadcrumbs. That's actually gonna go on the topping. First, we need to toss in about a tablespoon of butter. So now we're gonna take the breadcrumbs, just toss it in.
Our chopped onion, I'm just gonna add it. So I'm gonna let that cook down until the onions are translucent. I'm gonna be adding in our tomato paste.
I also have a couple of green onions. The easy thing to do is just to cut them directly over the pot.
Black pepper, of course. I like to add a little bit of brandy to this. This is not traditional, but it's my personal touch. So a little bit for the blender and a little bit for me. We can keep making chiles en nogada.
Now I'm gonna add in our crushed tomatoes. Oh, we're good, we're good. Let it simmer on low for 5-10 minutes.
It will burn very quickly, so you do want to keep an eye on it, move it around a lot, and see, it's now totally shifted color. So now we're going to take it off, but keep it in the same pot.
Look at that. So that's going to go all over the peppers.
Now we're going to blend this, and we're going to add the milk as we go. Deliciousness.
This is the part we've all been waiting for.
Now I'm going to stuff the peppers.
And you're going to want to stuff them with enough, but not too much.
Make sure you kind of push the filling inside on the side so that it really fills up.
And before you put the toothpicks, make sure it closes. Oh, I put too much filling.
Oh my God, look, we're stuffed. Okay, so once I did that, I'm gonna put it into my pot that's gonna go into the oven.
So I'm using some bamboo sticks, skewers, to secure the stuffing for falling off. You know, it's like a nice big scarf. Then we have my poblano pepper.
Now the peppers are stuffed. Now it's time to top them off with a little bit of breadcrumbs. That's gonna give it like a great crunch and texture.
And then I'm going to ladle red sauce on top of the peppers. This is gonna help it kind of get rid of that tough exterior.
And now it's time to put it in the oven, which I have preheated for 350. It's gonna cook for about 35 minutes.
20, 25 minutes.
All right, folks, so you need a big whisk. We're gonna do 4 eggs. We're gonna keep the egg whites in one bowl, and we're gonna add a pinch of salt to the egg whites. I would like to take the hard way, so I'm gonna do this manually. Release all your stress, all this negativity into the eggs. Let's try this, see if they're ready. Voila. Gonna add the egg yolk into here. Have another whisk. Mr. Poblano, waiting for the flour wash. You already released all your anger onto the egg, so now share the love. Make sure you remove most of the flour. I'm gonna put it right here, and we are going to fry them. We're gonna add some more egg on top. Be gentle, okay? Take your time. Give it a nice oil bath. So we look a nice gold color. Look, that's it. Shut the heat off, put it on a dry towel, little bit of salt, and there you go.
So I pulled out the peppers from the oven. They smell so good. Now I'm gonna plate it. I'm just gonna ladle some sauce, make it look really pretty.
They're a little fun to handle, like sometimes they fall over. Putting on top some parsley and some garlic, more garlic, I know. Just to put on top, give it a nice little fresh zing.
And then we're gonna garnish it with some basil.
We have the poblano pepper already capeado, so we have to make sure to remove the skewers. And we're gonna look for the pretty side, this one right here. I'm going to put a little bit of sauce. Look at this beauty. Some pomegranates, just few toasted walnuts as garnish, and parsley.
And this is my mom's famous Persian stuffed pepper.
This is our shrimp and crab meat stuffed pepper.
Chiles en nogada.
Time to just dig in.
Oh yeah, this is good stuff.
Okay. This is good. I don't know why I'm shocked.
So look at these layers of pure love. It's like a little cake.
There's like loads of crab meat in each bite, loads of garlic.
A little bit of spicy from the roasted poblano. When you eat the pomegranates, you have this layer of freshness going through your mouth. And then the sauce. The sauce is just amazing the way it is.
Honestly, like I think I really should have gone with more salt. A lot more salt, LOL.
Next time, I might go a little bit more decadent and add maybe some Parmesan.
If I had to change something in this dish, it will be nothing. Maybe, no, nada.
There's no shortage of ways to stuff a pepper, so let's see how each of our 3 chefs made theirs. Negeen used green bell peppers, which have a grassy flavor from the compound isobutyl methoxypyrazine, which is contained in oil droplets in the pepper. As a green bell pepper matures, it may turn red or orange or yellow, depending on the variety.
You can use green peppers, they're perfectly really good.
Negeen doesn't pre-cook her peppers in any way, so this is a quick and convenient way to prepare her Persian-flavored stuffed peppers.
I think it just brings back a lot of memories of watching my mom cook in the kitchen.
Heather uses red and yellow peppers, which are rich in lutein. In red peppers, the green chlorophyll disappears during ripening, and other carotenoids like capsanthin, capsorobin, and beta-carotene, a precursor of vitamin A, are expressed. Heather parboils her peppers briefly, which softens the pepper and deactivates enzymes. Saul open flame roasted a poblano pepper, which is a chili pepper from the Puebla region of Mexico.
Because it has a cell phone shape.
Poblanos are a deep green, similar in color to a jalapeno, but larger and much more suited to stuffing. Negeen used ground grass-fed lamb as her main protein in this dish.
We'll just add a little bit of a kick to it.
She included classic aromatics like garlic and shallots. Shallots are related to onions but are smaller and grown in smaller clusters and are more mild and sweet compared to cooking onions. They tend to have a soft lavender color from anthocyanins, particularly cyanidin. She also included the warming spices of cumin and cinnamon and added turmeric, which contains phenolic compounds with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Negeen made basmati rice.
I kind of go all out with the rice.
And adds it to her lamb mixture once it's cooked. Heather used crab meat and shrimp for her stuffing. Shrimp and crab cook very quickly, so she added them after she cooked her aromatic onions, celery, and green bell pepper, also known as the Trinity in New Orleans.
I'm stuffing a pepper with a pepper.
She also added garlic, parsley, rosemary, and thyme. These are herbs, which means they grow above the ground and are the leafy part of the plant. Distinctive flavors associated with herbs tend to come from combinations of flavoring molecules. For example, rosemary flavor is a combination of floral notes from terpineol, woody notes from borneol, and pine notes from pinene. The addition of breadcrumbs acts as a neutral filler and binder for her seafood and aromatics. And eggs, the ultimate binder, have phospholipids that are part hydrophilic and hydrophobic, so they bridge these two types of molecules and hold ingredients together in her mixture. Saul used a combination of pork and beef and sauteed garlic and onion. Garlic has a higher concentration of the monosaccharide fructose, so it caramelizes easily and brings a pungent sweetness when fried in oil. He then blended it with plum tomatoes, thyme, and small amounts of cinnamon and cloves. He also added a combination of Granny Smith apples, pear, peach, and golden raisins. Granny Smith apples are high in malic acid, which makes them especially tart. Negeen made a simple and tasty sauce to complement her stuffed peppers.
Oh, we're good.
Heather needed no sauce for her peppers. By parboiling peppers, they're softer and melt together with the stuffing when you eat them. She simply added additional breadcrumbs, first toasted in butter, which added a crunchy textural component. Simple and delicious.
Butter, because butter. Just butter.
Saul made salsa de nogada with milk, goat cheese, sugar, and a small amount of brandy.
A little bit for the blender and a little bit for me.
Negeen filled her peppers with her lamb and rice mixture
We're stuffed.
and fresh herbs, and then placed them on top of a base of her tomato sauce. The sauce will help to tenderize and soften the uncooked peppers by steaming. Using a crisp and sturdy uncooked pepper for stuffing helped to keep her filling in place while it was heated through at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Heather also baked her peppers. Because she parboiled her peppers to soften them, they were less sturdy for holding this stuffing. Binding her seafood and breadcrumb mixture with an egg held her stuffing together and compensated for the soft parboiled pepper. She baked at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, slightly longer than Negeen, to ensure the egg was fully cooked. Saul fried his pepper. First, he made a light batter by whipping egg whites only until they were stiff.
Release of your stress.
Egg whites form tiny bubbles when air is whipped in. The proteins unfold when agitated, and exposed polar amino acids interact with polar water molecules and form films that trap the air, which interacts with the nonpolar amino acids. Negeen served her peppers to allow them to rest in her tomato sauce with ripped basil sprinkled on top. A lovely, simple, and delicious Persian-inspired dish. Heather's beautiful stuffed peppers had a gorgeous color and seafood flavor. Her filling boasted a delicious combination of seafood and all the aromatics used throughout New Orleans' world-famous cuisine. Saul served his peppers with his light salsa, pomegranate seeds, and parsley, representing the red, white, and green of the Mexican flag. It's a perfect blend of spicy, sweet, salty, and meaty, served decorated fit to celebrate Mexican Independence Day. Stuffed peppers is a dish that means many different but delicious things throughout the world. Next time you're in the mood for stuffed peppers, we hope you'll take some tips from our 3 chefs.